that symbolism would not have been forgotten on the people of this country.
Absolutely.
Sohail Seth is with us from New Delhi.
Okay.
Yesterday, Sohail Seth was on the telephone line with us. I'm afraid I was not in the studio there, but Sohail was a virtual eyewitness there. So let me first begin by asking you, Sohail, to tell us through what you went through, where you were when this happened, and what those first minutes were till you actually came to grips with what was happening around you in Mumbai last evening.
I've been staying at the Taj for a couple of days, and last evening I stepped out at about 8:40 to go to the Colaba Aghiari for a wedding reception dinner, which would have lasted about half an hour, 40 minutes. And at about 9:20, I get a text message from the hotel concierge saying that there is some trouble around the hotel. That time it wasn't in the hotel. And we'd request you to not come to the hotel immediately, because I was headed back instantly. By about 9:30, I would have been in the hotel and in the thick of things. So I immediately diverted the vehicle and instead went off to the Taj President. But while we were driving, you could see the roads emptying out, the cordoning. And I have to say that if it hadn't been for that alert from the Taj and the care that they took, we would have been in trouble, because as Alec and Farooq both said, we are living in callous times. Our governance system is callous, our politicians are inept. You have probably the worst home minister you've ever had in our entire history, who is not only incompetent, he's inept, he's inarticulate, and he is reasonably unintelligent. And these are the men we trust 1 billion lives with? These are the people who don't learn from any lesson? Alec and Farooq both mentioned the lessons of the past. We never learn. And I can tell you one thing, Arnab, you've done great coverage today, but this nation will forget in another 4 months, because you will then worry about the next crisis. We are a great country which lives from crisis to crisis because we have a bunch of corrupt, inept politicians, self-serving and nothing more. It is tragic. I have seen the way people at the Taj have stood out. You know, right from the top management, people have been there, people have spent all night. Did you see any person from the political system? They will come, as Rahul Shivshankar on your channel very rightly said, for the ubiquitous soundbite. Vilas Rao Deshmukh will surface tomorrow, either for his son's film premiere or to give the proper soundbite that, oh, you know, all is well. And I'm tired of hearing this nonsense that you can never predict terror. I completely agree. You can't predict terror. But can we in this country have a game plan for managing crisis, or will lives be lost because we are so inept at providing the basic crisis infrastructure for this country? One gets angry, one gets anguished, and one is completely desolate given the kind of politics and the kind of viciousness that we have in our political system. We don't have men anymore. We have wimps running this country. And as long as wimps run this country, you will continue to face crisis after crisis. My appeal would be for industry to stand up today and be united. My appeal would be to the CIIs, to the FICCIs of the world, to tell the Manmohan Singhs and the LK Advanis that you can't convert Bombay into a Bali. You can't allow the financial, commercial face, the cosmopolitan face of secular India to be destroyed in international imagery. You can't have a situation where 20 people hold an entire nation of 1.1 billion people to ransom. You cannot have a country which is led by a prime minister who has a home minister in his cabinet who just can't govern. He can only speak. The time to do has arrived. The time to talk has gone. And the sooner we realize it, the better off we are. It's the media today which has highlighted the crisis that is prevalent. It is the people at the Taj, it is the people at the Oberoi, it is the people at the Kama Hospital, it's people, common people who've given their lives for the average citizen of this country. But the guys who sit in power, who occupy Lutyens zone bungalows and you know, the Varshas of the world in Bombay, they don't care. So we can sit and have this interesting television program and forget all about it tomorrow. Or we can actually start a movement and say enough is enough. If I were you, I would run a campaign on Times Now and in your sister publication Times of India saying declare a national emergency to hell with the elections, first sort out the problems of this country. And as you rightly said, how difficult would it have been for Lal Krishna Advani, Manmohan Singh, Jaswant Singh, and all these other guys to share one aircraft, to show one united face, and to talk about one country. The tragedy is we don't speak out against these guys, and these guys run amok. We are actually, although I hate to say this, I was part of it, I saw it with my own eyes. You know, there is no point post-mortemizing these things. Because as Farooq and Alec rightly said, you will have a recurrence. This will repeat itself. And this will repeat itself with greater viciousness, with greater casualty, and with more comprehensive destruction.
Well, Sohail,
I think if a campaign has to be run, if a movement has to be run it now.
Sohail, I must say this, Sohail. There will be people across this country who tonight will empathize with every alphabet that you have uttered, Sohail, because people are tired, they are frustrated, they cannot go on. People in the media, even all of us here in the media, also equally tired of reporting about senseless after senseless incident of violence, to the point where it all becomes numb. Even as a journalist, you become numb to the figures that are thrown at you. 100 people killed, 50 people killed, and you live with this mix of rage, anger, and absolute frustration. Do we need to live with this, Shefali?